Well, an order of Catholic nuns called the Little Sisters of the Poor is taking on certain provisions of the Affordable Care Act. As the issue heads to the Supreme Court, the group is getting help from some powerful members of Congress. One America's John Hines has more from Washington.
House Speaker Paul D. Ryan and 206 other members of Congress have signed on to an amicus brief to the Supreme Court in support of the Little Sisters of the Poor. Little Sisters of the Poor are challenging the Obama administration's mandate that employers provide employees with birth control and abortion-inducing drugs through their company health insurance plans. One of the organizers of the amicus brief is Pennsylvania Republican Congressman Mike Kelly. Kelly says that the Supreme Court needs to know that the Little Sisters of the Poor are not alone.
This begs for somebody to take attention to it, to take action against it, and that's what we're trying to do. So the amicus brief, 207 members of Congress, and this is bipartisan and bicameral, by the way, have signed on to this, and we're trying to give great stature to the lawsuits so that when the court looks at it, they understand that there's a lot of folks that feel the same way.
Dustin Siggins, a writer and blogger for LifeSiteNews.com, says the Obamacare mandate issued through the Department of Health and Human Services, or HHS, forces religious orders to do something that their faith tells them is wrong.
The mandate still requires groups like Little Sisters of the Poor, Priests for Life, and other religious groups, including universities, to cover drugs and devices that they oppose on moral grounds.
But Representative Kelly says many corporations have received an exemption from the HHS mandate, and the Little Sisters of the Poor should receive the same treatment given to private businesses.
The Little Sisters of the Poor should not be any different than Hobby Lobby, should not be any different than Seneca Hardwoods. They should not be any different than any of the corporations or the companies that said, listen, you can't make us provide something that goes against our very beliefs to the people that we work with, our associates. So why would we just limit it to people in business?
The full Supreme Court granted Little Sisters of the Poor a temporary carve-out from the HHS mandate last January, while their case worked its way through the lower courts. Arguments in the case will begin in March, with a decision likely due in June. John Hines, One America News, Washington.